in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM, AM 1230 WBVP, 95.7 FM, and 1460 AM WMBA. Also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Rush Hour is just getting started on Beaver County Radio. It's time for Driving in the Fast Lane with Frank Sparks. It's the show that talks about what's happening in the news, locally, regionally, and nationally. There will be guests, and Noah Haswell will have the news at the top and bottom of each hour. And now, here is the host of the show, Frank Sparks.
Hey, good morning and welcome. It is a chilly Tuesday morning here in Beaver County. What better morning to dream? And that's what we've been talking about today. Kind of. I mean, Scott started out. It is Buzz Aldrin's 96th birthday. And we're going to talk about, a little later on, about the Artemis II mission and my fascination with space travel. And just the coolness of it all. Talk a little bit about it over the years. And we want to hear yours about the first time somebody went to the moon. And just talk about that. But now we're number one this morning. We're going to talk about finding your own star and finding your way along. And Tom Young from First Consultant is here. And he's going to tell us how to find our star and to follow it. Morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is butt cold out there.
Oh, yeah.
My house must give off a lot of heat. I looked out on the back porch. I have a thermometer that's up against the house wall, and it said 20 degrees. But the furnace, it was like 7 when I got up this morning.
It was, when I got my truck at 5 o'clock, it was 2 degrees, according to my truck. I was like, oh, no.
It was cold.
Yes.
Anyway, hey, folks, I'm Tom Young, and we're here to talk about goals and dreams and that kind of stuff. It's, what resolutions did you set for the new year? We'll talk about that and how that relates to what I'm talking about, your dream, your star, and whatever. I want to open with a prayer today. We thank you for this morning. Bless our listeners in success, health, and family love. We pray the world peace. We pray for world peace and the end of conflicts. Guide us with your grace and light today. In Jesus' name, amen. It's funny when I started thinking about today, and it goes back to a couple weeks ago. I'm a cantor in our church, and I sing, and it was Epiphany Sunday. I don't know if you know what that is, but Epiphany Sunday, and I was saying, "We Three Kings" was one of the songs that I sang that day. And Father Howard at St. Peter and Paul, his sermon was about the star. And he talked about following the star. And just, I don't know why, my mind went off and I'm thinking, imagine at that time, you're a king, these three kings from Balthazar and from all over the world, I guess, from all over the country. And this light shines in the sky. Now, today we might think it's a UFO, and that, but how did they know to follow that star? How did they know that? So it's funny when we think about that. What is your star? That's what I want to talk about today. Your star, what is it? Is it health, fitness? I talked about resolutions. Is your resolution better health this year, get better fitness, be fit, go on a diet? That's probably the number one. Get out of debt, save more money, find a better paying job, more family time, love in the home. So it's just, different things that we think about every day or don't think about, because I think the hardest thing, and there's a quote I have laying here somewhere, and I can't put my hand on it, but the hardest thing to do is to think. Do you take time out of your life to just think about things? Sit in a quiet place and just let your mind wander. And maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing to let your mind wander. But what's going on in your mind? It's January of a new year. And I love that because I'm a positive mental attitude type of guy. And it allows me to erase 2025. I try to examine 25 and say, okay, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? The things I did wrong, let's not do them again. And I have my 3 books that I get off my shelf that I read every year in January and February by the time I get them done. The first one I read, and I brought it with me today, is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, I have a copy. It is so old and yellowed, and I have a newer version of it. It's called Think and Grow Rich for the Modern Reader from the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And when I look at that, I look at the chapters in this book. Think and Grow Rich. Chapter 1 is about desire. Do you really have a desire? Do you want it? I have learned in sales, which is what I'm involved in. I don't sell things. I provide things that people decide fits what they want to do today. But what is your desire? Do you think about it? Do you focus on it? Number 2 is faith. How is your faith doing? I have a little thing I'm going to read here out of the book, and this is on page, 27 of the book. Emotionalized thoughts mixed with faith immediately translate physically. Interesting. Faith is a state of mind induced by self-suggestion. It isn't something somebody else does. Always remember to have faith in yourself and faith in the infinite. And faith is the eternal elixir that gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thoughts. The previous sentence is worth reading a second time, a third, and a fourth. It is worth reading aloud. Faith is the eternal elixir that gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thoughts. Faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches. Faith is the basis of all miracles and all mysteries that cannot be analyzed by the rules of science. Faith is the only known antidote for failure. Faith is the element, the chemical, that when mixed with prayer gives you direct communication with infinite intelligence. Faith is the element that transforms the ordinary vibration of thought created by the infinite mind of humans into its spiritual equivalent. Faith is the only agency through which the cosmic force of infinite intelligence can be harnessed and used by you. Resolve to throw off negative influences and build your life in order. All of these words, and when I started, let's go back a little bit and talk about Tom. I went to Ambridge High School. I graduated with a D-. They were kind of happy that I was leaving. It wasn't that I was a big troublemaker, but I didn't have a good attitude about being in school. My dad had an 8th grade education, so education was not a big thing. I wanted to work on automobiles, build racing engines, and that was my dream. So I graduated high school, went directly into the Air Force. My father signed for me because I didn't turn 18 yet. And I was expecting to be an aircraft mechanic. This is what my dream was. I wanted to work on jet engines and airplanes. And they made me a medic. And I won't go into the story, but it was a painful experience in my life that I had to go through till I accepted the Air Force's desire for me to be a medic, not a mechanic. Got out of the Air Force. I met the lady of my life the month in September of 67. I left for the Air Force in November, and I was in the Air Force. After I got out 3 months later, I married her. She was the only adult female I ever was with, knew, liked. When I was a teenager, I was in automobiles. Time went on, got out of the Air Force, got a job in the mill, worked there for a short period of time, and then started Tom's Auto Body. And as I moved forward with my life, I met some people that had a huge impact on my life. Had my automobile garage for a couple of years. After it wasn't a hobby. When it was a hobby, I really loved it, Frank. But it wasn't a hobby anymore, so now it became a pain in the patoot, And I was fortunate enough, a guy named Don Ketter walked in one day, made me an offer to buy the garage, and wham, bam, I sold the garage. I worked at Beglin Ford for a year in the Valley, and then I joined the financial service business. And I mean, I didn't fit the mold. I didn't even have any dress clothes. I went for an interview in my mechanic blues. I was the automatic transmission overhauler at the garage. So it was January, so you can imagine what I looked like, my big burly coat. I weighed about 250 pounds, so I was a little on the hefty side at that time. And I went to this guy's office, Joe Stratico. And while I was there, he's sitting behind this big mahogany desk and big bookshelves, and you can imagine what the office looked like. And he said to me, he said, "You could have an office like this someday." And I said, "Don't horse blank me." And he did, but you got to take a test. So I took a test, 28 questions. And at the end of the test, I handed it back to him. He corrected it, and he looked at me, and he says, "How did you do that?" And I said, "Do what?" He says, "Nobody in 30 years as a manager ever got all of them right. You got all the questions correct." 28 questions. And I looked at him. I didn't understand that at that time, but it was the beginning of finding who I was inside, because it was the beginning of starting to believe in me. And that was important, because that was when I was exposed to the books like Think and Grow Rich and things that had the ability to get into my 6 inches between my ears and take me to another level in life, to take me to belief. And when I started in that business, I had no belief that I could do this. I mean, I was out of my basket in door-to-door selling life insurance. And so I went on. The first year, because I believed it was an opportunity of a lifetime, I just worked harder than everybody else. I asked more people than anybody else. I had more interviews than anybody else. There were 60 guys in the office, and at the end of the year, I ended up number one in the office. They made me a sales manager. I took over a staff that ranked 88 out of 95 in the region. 11 months later, we were 10th in the region. I had made international conference and had all this success. And I realized at that moment how much money I made for the 7 guys on the staff. There was no women on the staff. Sorry, ladies. And then I just said, this isn't me. I enjoyed the people. And so I went back to being an agent and had a very successful year. In that third year, I ended up 87 out of 25,000 agents in the company. And then I left. I went on my own because I couldn't do for me what they were telling me to tell my customers. It didn't make sense. I had 3.5 years as a business owner, so my thinking was a little bit different than the way I looked at things. And so I went on my own, and I was chasing. I was searching for the star, and in the beginning it was all about winning the contest, going to the conferences. It was about the next sale and sell. And I, down the road 10, 12 years, and I ended up in a lawsuit that knocked the wind out of my sales. Client sued me for $800,000. I'm being honest with you today, folks. I'm just sharing from my heart. And it took all my confidence away. And for 3.5 years, I don't think I sold 2 policies. I borrowed money everywhere I could borrow money. And then there was a deposition, and the deposition, all I sold the guy was a life insurance policy with guarantee. So and at the deposition, they found out that my CPA, his son, had referred this guy to me, and they went there. So I won't go into all the details of that, but I was exonerated. If you go on FINRA, you can go look at your agent. You go to FINRA. They have a site, and you can put in your agent and check out and see how many complaints he's had against him and how they were done, and did he have to pay any fines or all that. And this is the only thing that's in my total record for 49 years I've been doing this. And it was a global settlement, which means they paid all the attorneys.
Well, that's pretty good if you only made one person mad.
I'm sorry?
That's pretty good if you only made one person mad.
One thing, one nick in there, and
Yeah.
it really, I have a letter, I was exonerated. They went after the CPA's son because he signed some papers that he shouldn't have, that led the client to do things that he shouldn't have, and they figured that out at the deposition, and they went after the CPA and doing that. But time went on, and at the end of the lawsuit, it was all over. I found myself in the hole. I thought my insurance business was over. So I joined the Amway business. Now, Amway. Well, it's not soap door to door, folks. It's professional selling, and it's people that help you become successful business people. I met a guy named Jody Victor, and I had gone through all this financial stuff. I was at my wit's end. I was ready to think that the life insurance that I had would be better for my wife than me because of the mess that I believed I had created. And I go to this meeting in Ohio, and I meet this guy named Jody Victor. And I'm a front row type of guy. I'm in the third row back. I met him coming in the door. He gets up on the stage, starts to talk. And he steps down off the stage, looked right at me, and he says, sometimes people need a hug. And he stepped down, gave me a hug. I bawled like a baby. Folks, if you listen to me, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I'm speaking from the heart today. But on the way home that night, in my mind, all I really wanted, I didn't want the Cadillacs that were in the garage that I saw, this big, magnificent house, and this meeting room above the garage that sat 100 to 150 people. I wanted to be like Jody. I wanted to have the ability to help people, to help people find their star, so to speak. That's what Jody did for me. He taught me how to get out of debt. He taught me financial things that you can't go to school and learn. So he saved my life. Now, unfortunately, he passed away in December. Last Monday, we went to a celebration, and it was just tough. But I find myself at this point in my life searching for my star, and I believe it's on the horizon, and it's how I help people. Because I've learned things about finance and money that really it's not taught anywhere. I have a gentleman, another mentor in my life, Don Blanton, created a program called Financial Foundations. It's Circle of Wealth. I've been involved in it for 35 years, and it really teaches people the truth about money and how it really works. But it's really sitting here thinking, what can I say today to motivate you, to get you to believe in yourself, that the great thing can happen in your life. You have to make a decision. The first thing you have to do is decide. You have to decide that this year is going to be different. I'm going to do whatever it takes this year to raise my flag up the pole, to find my star. If I got to have binoculars, it's so far away at the current time, I have trouble seeing it. It's like looking at the night sky and the bright North Star stands out above all the other stars in the sky. It's out there, folks. It's out there if you really want it. You know, there are things, these other chapters in the Think and Grow Rich, auto-suggestion. You know, what you say to yourself, again, the 6 inches between your ears, is the most important real estate in the universe today. It can determine everything in your life. Anything you want, it's there in auto-suggestion. Specialized knowledge is another chapter. Imagination. Now, imagination is kind of unique because there's two kinds of imagination. The one kind of imagination is where people, they see a product and they see a way in their mind, I'm going to make it better. So they take something that already exists and they make it better. And then the other type of imagination is that creative imagination that creates things that didn't exist before. It's a totally different way to look at things. I want to talk more about that. We're going to take a break and we're going to go to the news, but we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the 6 basic fears, the things that stop us all that we must overcome.
It's hard to even put a title on what Tom Young at First Consultants in Beaver does. Calling him a financial planner or an insurance salesman or even a life coach still doesn't accurately describe the experience. That's because he brings dreams back to life or puts life back into retirement.
My job is to create in you the vision of the you that I think you can be, the place that I think you can get to. And you know what? I get frustrated because I see more greatness in people than they see in themselves. I see greater financial futures than they see in themselves. Most people don't believe they can get there.
Find out more by visiting firstconsultantsinc.com or engage in Tom Young's live simulcast presentation on the third Tuesday of each month beginning at 9:10 a.m. on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live. All advisory services are offered through PL Wealth LLC. PL Wealth is a federally registered investment advisor. PL Wealth is in no way affiliated with First Consultants Inc., nor is First Consultants Inc. a registered investment advisor. It might be time to repair or replace that old garage door. Call on Robin and her team of expert installers at Electric Garage Door Sales in Monaca. Dial 724-774-3200 and your door will work like a charm. Featuring CHI quality garage doors, LiftMaster garage door openers, and over 50 years experience, Robin and her team will get it done right. Electric Garage Door Sales. Give them a call at 724-774-3200 or find them online at electricgaragedoorsales.com.
We have Art Cornell here from the Beaver Cemetery and Mausoleum. Art, what's new at the cemetery?
We've just completed a new addition to the mausoleum with above-ground burial crypts, indoor and outdoor niches, and family areas. The Beaver Mausoleum advantages include no plot maintenance, the convenience of a heated and air-conditioned building for visitation, and an adjoining private chapel. It's a perfect final resting place for your loved ones.
Thanks, Art. Beaver Cemetery and Mausoleum, serving all of Beaver County since 1865. It's a new year. Maybe it's time for a new vehicle from Falcones Moon Township Ford. The easiest resolution to keep this year is the resolution for better transportation. That's because Falcones Moon Township Ford has made a resolution themselves. A resolution, that is, to provide the very best selection, the very best service, and the very best pricing in the entire area. Start the new year off right for even less when you qualify for first responder, military, or college student purchase programs. Visit moontownshipford.net to find out more, or make a resolution yourself to visit the state-of-the-art showroom located on University Boulevard across from Robert Morris College. Start off the new year with a bright and beautiful new vehicle from Moon Township Ford.
Falcones Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
Patriot Home Care is now hiring caregivers. Are you a caring and compassionate individual looking for a reliable income with benefits? Then call Patriot Home Care today. Benefits include health insurance, life insurance, paid vacation after 1 year, and 1.5 times hourly pay for overtime plus holiday hours. Patriot Home Care employees provide personal care, conversation and companionship, medication reminders, light housekeeping and laundry, meal preparation, and errands. Start your career in home care today and call Patriot Home Care at 724-506-8911 or apply online at patriothomecare.org.
Hi, folks. I'm with our good friend John Diagardi from Roe Monument. John, you were telling me earlier that people really should not rush into choosing a memorial for their loved one. Now, why is that?
We found that families need to take ample time to grieve first. Grief is not something that we get over, but rather something that we learn to live with. So the length of time to grieve varies from person to person.
You mentioned that the monument can't be placed right away.
That's right. There are certain things that need to take place before a monument can be installed. So it's really worth taking time to think about how to plan and design a memorial that truly reflects a person's life. It's actually a healing activity that helps to alleviate grief.
John, this makes a lot of sense.
It does. And when the time is right to proceed, not only can Roe Monument help families choose and design their memorial, we can help them save as much as 50% by eliminating the middleman.
Thank you, John. Folks, you can learn more simply by visiting RoeMonuments.com.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. Here's Noah Haswell.
Good morning on this Tuesday, January the 20th of 2026. We will have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. The cornerstone of Beaver County is reminding local residents that there are several warming centers in Beaver County to warm up because of the frigid cold temperatures today. The locations, times, and hours of operation of these centers can be found on our website at beavercountyradio.com, and anyone that is experiencing homelessness or at risk of homelessness or housing-related crisis anytime can call the cornerstone of Beaver County at 724-846-6400 for assistance. This year is the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States of America. Cassandra Coleman, the executive director of America 250 PA, will visit both Beaver and Lawrence counties on Sunday, January 25th, to launch the local celebration. This involved the state of Pennsylvania putting on a commitment to visit all of its counties, which started on Friday. The Beaver County Courthouse's meeting room in Beaver will host their kickoff event for America 250 PA this Sunday starting at 4:15 p.m., and the Newcastle Public Library will host Lawrence County's event for that celebration on the same day at 6:30 p.m. Duquesne Light Company, or DLC, is now increasing staffing due to the cold temperatures this week. DLC states that power outages are not expected, but they still want customers to be prepared. Therefore, they confirm that you should have all your important electronic devices charged ahead of time. DLC also encourages their customers to prepare an emergency kit with non-perishable food, medication, and other essentials. An alternate source of heat can also be available if possible. Pennsylvania State Police in Pittsburgh reported via release today that a residential structure fire occurred in Allegheny County on Sunday. This happened in Whitaker Borough at approximately 10:36 a.m. in the 1300 block of River Road. 7 victims were affected, and one adult man was transported via ambulance to a local hospital with suspected minor injuries for treatment. An investigation into this incident is ongoing, and the state police Troop B Fire Marshal is leading the investigation. Anyone with information about this incident should call PSP Pittsburgh at 412-299-1607. Pittsburgh native Curt Cignetti has coached the Indiana Hoosiers to a national championship as Fernando Mendoza bulldozed his way into the end zone and Indiana bullied its way into the history books last night. The Hoosiers toppled Miami 27-21 to put the finishing touch on a rags-to-riches story, an undefeated season in the college football national title. Mendoza, the 2025 Heisman Trophy winner, finished with 186 yards passing, but it was his tackle-breaking, sprawled-out 12-yard touchdown run on 4th and 4 with 9 minutes and 18 seconds left that defined this game. Mendoza's touchdown gave turnaround artist and Pittsburgh native Curt Cignetti's team a 10-point lead, barely enough breathing room to hold off a frenzied charge by the hard-hitting Hurricanes.
Well, I will say this. That victory last night with Indiana has now cemented that the Big Ten is now the Kings. 3 years in a row, SEC who? You know, everybody keeps talking about the SEC. It's now the Big Ten.
You are correct.
Yep.
You are actually correct. And this year at the Pittsburgh Travel Showcase, you can book a nonstop flight to Ireland courtesy of Aer Lingus this year. The showcase is from January 23rd through the 25th of 2026. Times of this event and more information about it can be found on our website at beavercountyradio.com.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Be sure to bundle up as a cold weather advisory remains in effect. Today, look for mostly sunny skies and gusty winds. We'll reach highs of 17 with wind chills well below 0 throughout the day. And we can expect increasing clouds tonight with lows around 11. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
On this Tuesday, January 20th of 2026 at 37 minutes after 10. Let me get my phone up real quick. We got a temperature of 9 degrees. Sunny skies currently in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM, AM 1230 WBVP, 95.7 FM and 1460 AM WMBA. Also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Weekday mornings were meant to drive in the fast lane. It's Frank Sparks on Beaver County Radio.
.38 in Beaver County. Tom Young's our guest this morning. Is his monthly appearance, and we're talking about following your star. Tom told us how he followed his star, and we're going from there.
It's amazing. We have to work on the 6 inches between our ears. There are 6 basic fears. Now, this is information that's out of the book Think and Grow Rich. 6 basic fears. Number 1, fear of poverty, fear of criticism, fear of ill health, fear of loss of someone's love, fear of old age, and fear of death. Now, a lot of those are easy to understand. Let's talk about the poverty mindset. 5 signs you may have a poverty mindset. Lack of ambition. People who struggle to create abundance in their lives very often. Very limited dreams and goals. So if you don't make plans, find it difficult to picture a better life. You tend to settle for whatever is offered to you and often nurture a kind of apathy. Towards a personal development, you may very well have a poverty mindset. You are pessimistic and self-pitying. To be clear, we all find it difficult to deal with the bad things that happen to us. It is not a crime to experience grief, sadness, or anger. In fact, all of these emotions can promote growth and push you towards lessons that help you create a better future. You are a deeply jealous person. By looking at rich mentality versus poor mentality, experts often note how much the poor mentality is defined by intense jealousy. You might constantly compare yourself to others, wanting what they have and believing that they don't really deserve it. You make your decisions based on fear. Poor mindset is primarily driven by the feelings of fear. So even when you exercise your agency, you do so feeling like your back is against the wall. This means you focus on avoiding bad things and protecting yourself from harm rather than concentrating on obtaining good things or welcoming positivity into your life. You focus on what you don't have, not on what you do have. When obsessing over how to break poverty cycles, you may naturally feel drawn to thoughts about what you lack. After all, it's that lack that makes you want something different. Now, I read those for a reason, because how do I overcome these things in my life? Well, it starts with how I feed my mind. What are you reading? I ask people this question a lot. What is the last good book you read that's not a love novel, story, a war book, or whatever, but it was a book that had the ability to get you to think better, think more, think about your future, and start to create that vision into your future. Because remember, fear is false evidence appearing real. F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. And thoughts are things. Now, I've read this before. Let me read this again. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces a thing that is imaged by the thought. A person can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. Now, that's wow, that sounds great, Tom. But think about it. I'm sitting here in this little studio room in Brighton Township. I have my cell phone on, so I'm broadcasting on my Facebook through my iPhone. We're sitting here broadcasting around the world. I see people on my phone here right now that are from South Africa, Pakistan, literally around the world, that follow me and listen to what I talk about. I have 6,500 followers on Facebook. I don't know how I did that, because they have a limit of 5,000, but I have 6,500.
I think I got rid of that.
I don't know, but it's amazing, and I'm humbled, completely humbled by the people that follow me, listen to me, clients that have been with me for decades. I have clients that are still alive, they haven't died yet, that have been with me for 48 years since I've been in the business. Because when I left the Prudential, a lot of people came with me, and so they're still with me. So I don't know what did I do right, if nothing more than I look at everybody, and with my 49 years of experience and all the education that I have, all the initials after my name, I want to apply my knowledge for your financial future as if you were I or I was you. To me, that's fiduciary. I'm a licensed fiduciary, a Series 66 license with the SEC makes me a fiduciary. I can charge a fee for advice. I don't charge a fee. I just like to see the results. I can tell you story after story of clients that I have watched for 15, 20, 25 years and see the results and the things that changed in their life.
I think you just answered your own question.
I'm sorry?
You just answered your own question.
I did.
Yeah. On why people have, for 48 years, you just answered your question. You answered it yourself as you were going, Tom.
It's amazing when I see the results, and I didn't do anything but coach people and guide them. And I don't sell products to people. I provide the products that allow people to accomplish their financial goals in life and things that they want to do. Success comes to those who become success conscious. William Ernst Henley wrote, "I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." He informed us of our ability to control our destiny because we have the power to control our thoughts. The hardest thing to do is thinking. 6 inches between our ears is the greatest asset that we have. Most valuable real estate in the world. And I do this, and I'm here and I talk about, I follow all of this stuff. I want to talk a little bit about rules. There are 4 basic rules at the financial world, which includes the government, Wall Street, the banks, the financial world, typically. I want all your money, more ongoing, keep forever, give back as little as possible. If you think about the advice that you have received, what advice did you receive that teaches you how to create money from money? Or is it just about compounding interest? How much interest do I make on my money? You know, the 4 rules that I ask people, the 4 goals, 4 questions that I ask people. How much interest do you have to earn on your money between now and retirement in order to have enough money at retirement to last you throughout your lifetime, maintain your lifestyle with adjustments for inflation? How much money do I have to save in order to accomplish that same thing? What is my retirement date? I don't know. I mean, retirement date could change. It could be caused by disability, other things happen in life, et cetera. And the question is, how much will you be willing to reduce your lifestyle so that the money you have will last throughout your lifetime, maintaining the lifestyle that you end up with? See, I look at position A. Position A, to me, is I get to that point in life that I decide to retire, and whatever my lifestyle is, I can maintain that lifestyle throughout my life expectancy with adjustments for inflation and not run out of money. To me, that is position A, and I want to be there. So the goals that I set for people is, number one, you've got to get to the 20% level of savings. The financial world for decades has said, well, save 10% of your income. Well, 10% of your income isn't enough because I don't see anybody achieving success by saving only 10% of their income. I've worked it out. It comes to 20%. Accumulate access to capital, 50% of your gross annual income in accessible capital. If you had that, you would never have to risk a credit card balance and risk paying 18, 22, or 28% interest. Number 3 is no consumer debt. Consumer debt is I bought something that I cannot pay for out of 30 days of income. So I've now dedicated income that I have yet to earn to pay for this thing that I bought. Learn to teach the CFO strategy to your family. My books, if you go to CFO-project.net, CFO-project.net, you will have an opportunity to get both of my books downloaded free cover to cover. Put in your name and email address. That's CFO-project.net. Family Money Farm, The CFO Project was the first book. The second book is The Family Money Farm, The Financial Mastery Coaching, The Blueprint. And those 2 books will give you all the information you need to start having efficient planning in your life going forward. And that is the most important thing. And we talk about inflation. I heard a good discussion yesterday about inflation. What is inflation? Inflation is caused by the law of supply and demand. Capitalism is built around the concept of supply and demand. I study and follow Austrian economics. I'm a student of it. I'm not a professional of it in any way, but I understand Austrian economics is where you let the marketplace run the marketplace without interference. And in history, all we know is every time the government got involved in the marketplace and in adjusting the interest rate, the Federal Reserve, they cause bust and boom cycles in our business history, in our financial lives. So the law of supply and demand is simple. If the supply is low, there isn't a lot of supply, and everybody wants it, Frank, what do you think is going to happen to the price?
Prices are going up.
The price is going up, okay? So supply and demand are the key. So when the president, when Trump talks about growth, okay, we can grow our way out of the problems that we're having in our economy right now. And it's happening. Our economy has grown. The fourth quarter last year had 5% growth. I don't remember the last time that happened in our economy where we actually hit 5% growth in GDP. It happened in the fourth quarter. Now, I don't know whether you like Trump, don't like him, whether you got Trump derangement syndrome, which is a psychological issue you have to deal with because you tend to be destroying your own life by allowing that to dictate how you think and what you do. It's just proven. I get upset, and I'm way off, but the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, do you all remember that? It was a big thing, Elon Musk and all the things going on. And I have a list here. U.S. taxpayers were going to be spent on the following items in which have been canceled. $10 million for Mozambique voluntary medical male circumcision. $9.7 million for UC Berkeley to develop a cohort of Cambodian youth with enterprise-driven skills. $2.3 million for strengthening independent voices in Cambodia. $32 million to the Prague Civil Society Center. $40 million for Gender Equality and Women Empowerment Hub. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $486 million to the Consortium of Elections and Political Process Strengthening, including $22 million for inclusive and participatory political process in Moldova, and $21 million for voter turnout in India. $29 million to strengthening political landscape in Bangladesh. $20 million for fiscal federalism in Nepal. $19 million for biodiversity conversation in Nepal. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $2.5 million for inclusive democracies in South Africa. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. $2 million to develop sustainable recycling models to increase social economic cohesion among marginalized communities of Kosovo, Roma, Ashkali, and Egypt. Now, that's just a little list. And for the life of me, I have been so dumbfounded why we have all this stuff going on in America. In Minnesota, they have already found tens of billions of dollars of fraud. The news last week was talking about people going to the airport in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, and get on a plane with a suitcase full of $1 million in cash. Now, folks, I dare you to go to the airport and try to take $10,000 cash on an airplane with you to go to Vegas or do something. You're going to be questioned, but yet these people were able to take millions of dollars in suitcases full of cash out of the country without question. Something's got to stop, folks. This is completely way out of hand. And with that, I want to Saul Alinsky. I don't know, do you remember that name?
Yep.
This was Obama's hero, Saul Alinsky. His doctrine, 8 steps to topple a nation and create a socialist state. Number 1, healthcare. Control healthcare and you control the people. I mean, is the government trying to take over healthcare? Wasn't Obamacare that was supposed to save money? It never saved anybody any money, and it continues
Costs more.
to go up in price. Poverty. Increase the poverty level as high as possible. Poor people are easier to control and will fight back if you are providing everything for them. Won't fight back if you're providing everything for them. I guess where are these protesters coming from? We already know that the majority of them are paid. And I believe what's going to come out of these NGOs, non-government organizations that our government donated money to so that they could do non-government things that would be illegal under the government regulations. So that money gets funneled around and they're finally following the money and finding it going to places that just, I don't want to explain and tell you how angry that I really am about all of this. Debt. Increase the debt to an unsustainable level. The way you are able to increase tax, then you are able to increase taxes and will produce more poverty. Now, I don't know about that one, debt. We are all affected by the example of others, of other things. And psychologically, we typically look up the politicians and people that are in office, the president and all those people, and our government sitting on $38 trillion of debt that is absolutely unpayable, and they continue to throw trillions of dollars annually just to pay the interest on it. When are you going to get pissed off? Excuse my French. Gun control. Remove the ability to defend themselves from the government. That way you're able to create a police state. Welfare. Take control of every aspect of their lives, food, housing, and income. Education. Take control of what people read and listen to. Take control of what children learn in school. The Fabian Society. Look it up, folks. Fabian Society. Go on the internet and put in Fabian Society and do some research and read what has transpired since the mid-1930s. Religion. Remove the belief in the God from the government and schools. I don't know about you folks, but I don't know. They talk about separation of government and religion. It's never been integrated together. And really, when you remove God, the Ten Commandments, it's the moral foundation of our society. When are we going to stand up and say that's enough? Class warfare. Divide the people into the wealthy and the poor. This will cause more discontent, and it will be easier to take and tax the wealthy with the support of the poor. Now, I don't know about you folks, but how much better could I describe our society as it is today? And my challenge to you today, as we look forward and go forward into the future, is decide. Look inside yourself and decide. Believe in yourself. Have faith that the great thing can happen in your life if you just stay consistent and persistent towards those aims, while at the same time you continually grow you. Read good books, Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends, Influence People, The Magic of Thinking Big by Dr. Schwartz, and on and on and on. If you want a bigger list, give me a call or go to my website, firstconsultantsinc.com. There's a store on there, and there's a whole list of great, great books that can make an unbelievable difference in your life.
All right, buddy. Ready to go?
We're ready to go.
All
God
right.
bless. You can reach me at 724-728-6820. Allow yourself 45 minutes. I don't bite. I'm not mean.
He just
I
nibbles
won't
a
ask
little.
you to buy anything,
Right.
but give me the opportunity to change your future.
All right,
God
buddy.
bless everybody.
See you next month.
See you next month, Frank.
All right. We'll be back. Town Hall News, followed by local news right after this. From Beaver Cemetery. Art, I understand that Beaver Cemetery has some interesting options for families choosing